Here we go.
Get ready, get set for the best movie and pop culture talk in the universe. It's the Good Brothers on Mercado Airwaves with your hosts, Alex Mercado and Mike Mercado.
Welcome back to another episode of the Good Brothers. I'm Alex. That's Mike. We are the Good Brothers, the best podcast in the Midwest, in the world, in the universe, and in all the multiverses. Mike, how's it going?
Pretty good. I hope our multiverse is doing a lot better than some other multiverses right now. But Good Brother, we'll get into
Maybe
that
a crisis?
into just a little bit. We want to thank everybody for joining us on this episode of the Good Brothers. We talk about two trailers that dropped over the week. We have to break down two of the biggest shows on television. We'll talk about another show on television. Award season is underway and some wrestling news. But before we get into all that, Good Brother, let's go to the movies.
No, it's cold.
Number one, again, at the box office was Frozen 2, Knives Out, Ford v Ferrari, Queen and Slim, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, Dark Waters, 21 Bridges, Playing with Fire, Midway, and Last Christmas. Not a lot of surprises in the box office.
Pretty slow week. We've talked about every single one of these movies, so this will probably be a real short section.
The only thing I really want to focus on is coming out this weekend. You could go see Jumanji, The Next Level, Bombshell, Black Christmas, or Richard Jewell. Which of those is piquing your interest, Good Brother?
It's fascinating. I think Richard Jewell, just because there is going to be some love for Kathy Bates and possibly the whole movie.
Sam Rockwell.
Yeah. Like, it's very much an acting course, and Clint Eastwood directed. So I'm fascinated by that. Other than that, I don't see much. Jumanji, I don't think will make as much as it did last time. I think that should have came out in the summer. I think it would have been a great summer movie this year. I hear good things. I like the original Jumanji better still. I did like the last Jumanji, honestly.
Yeah.
But nothing in the trailers. Like, I'm getting ready for Star Wars next week, so I'm really trying to preserve myself when it comes to it. So I don't think a movie this late in the year really catches my attention as much as it did when it first came out.
Now, what about Bombshell with Margot Robbie, Charlize Theron, and Nicole Kidman?
Oscars. It's an Oscar movie. Is it a movie I want to go pay to see in the theater? Probably not. It's a little rough. It's definitely one of those stories where I think you need to be in the comfort of your home. But Netflix is killing it this year, and so is Amazon. So it's fascinating that some of these movies that decide to come out in theaters, we're in the movie section going to the movies. So we're talking about money, and we're talking about not just what the critics are saying, but will it make any money? Probably not.
What do you think about Black Christmas marketing and it's PG-13, so they're trying to go for that teenage market right now before Star Wars, after Frozen, instead of bus movies? Because there is always that one scary movie that comes out that surprises everybody.
No, I think if anything, that gets the bottom of the list for those four you named.
We also had two trailers drop, though, Good Brother, in the movie space, and that is Ghostbusters,
Ba-da-dum-bum-bum-bum.
Afterlife, and Wonder Woman 84. So Ghostbusters, Afterlife, Finn Wolfstock, I think is his name.
What's the joke? He's the only kid that can play 80s anymore because he's in every 80s movie.
And then we see, obviously, Paul Rudd is in this movie. We see it's a continuation of the Ghostbusters 1 and 2.
It's not an 80s movie. It's a property from the 80s, and they talk about it, but it's probably the most modern time period he's played so far.
What did you think about Ghostbusters Afterlife's teaser trailer?
Loved it. I loved it. It had a creepy tone. Again, the problem with the Ghostbusters remake wasn't that it was a bad movie. It's just you should have connected it.
Yeah.
If all you said is, oh, look, there's this old firehouse we found, and oh, what? The Ghostbusters were here. And you can build off that. Like the teaser had told us. Like in the subway where you see it. This movie does a great job being 30 years ago in the 80s, all this shit went down. Obviously, nothing like that has happened since. I think Watchmen does a good job of it too, where it's we can have tragedy 30 years ago and still not ignore it. We can still have normal life. It happened a long time ago. It still happened, and I like that they connected, and obviously he's going to be Egon's grandkid.
More than likely, yeah.
Duh.
Because he's the one.
And they're going to have to call back the OG Ghostbusters, and we're going to get a Paul Rudd and two kids and maybe another cast member to make up this new form. That's exactly what you needed to do. You put in someone like Paul Rudd who's never been hotter. Or just getting hotter and hotter. You put these young, talented actors who can carry this franchise as they grow into young men. And it looks great. All the nostalgia. We get a bit of Slimer. I loved it. And they didn't give away too much.
I think the biggest problem that happened with the all-female Ghostbusters was they promoted it as we're different, come watch us because we're different. And then every chance they got, they reference an Easter egg, the original ones, from like, you could have given these women the platform.
Have it both ways.
But you could have given these talented women the platform of, here's this IP, you're connected to this universe, you have the backbone already, carry us on for the next 10 years. Instead, you're like, no, we're different. But here, we're actually really the same. It's like it doesn't work that way.
Like the ending, they go to, what's his name?
Bill Murray?
No, the ending of the remake where the Zool. No, not Zool. Who's the ghost from part 2? Who's the bad guy in part 2 from Ghostbusters 2? They reference him at the end of the remake, and it's like you said, why?
Oh, yeah, I can't. Now that you put me on the spot, give me a second.
Continue it just makes no sense. Like you said, why connect it at all? Why drop these subtle little Easter eggs like a Slimer, like the ending villain, like all you bring in all the original Ghostbusters to not play
Vigo.
Yeah. Like you bring them all in not to play their original parts. It makes no sense. It's like you went out of your way to not be connected.
And either way, though, like I don't want to harp on that movie because that movie got a lot of unjusted hate. There's some very legit.
No, they got just hate before it came out, which is wrong.
Yeah,
it's not good.
No, yeah.
So I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna sit here and be like it didn't deserve it. Didn't deserve it when it got it.
But I don't want to pile onto it.
Yeah.
Moving on with this movie, Afterlife, I think they've hit a lot of the beats. I'm excited for this movie. It feels right. I know a lot of people say it doesn't feel like a Ghostbusters movie.
Well, it's not in New York right now. That's why.
But to me, it's like, what does a Ghostbusters movie feel like?
New York. I think that's what people's biggest thing is, but I like that they're not in New York because, again, we do need a continuous story, so we can't just keep doing what we're doing.
I never thought of Ghostbusters as New York. I thought of Ghostbusters as the crew.
Think New York's definitely the fifth Ghostbuster at that point, or it's the fifth character where it's such a big part. Like, half our story is destroying
that's fair
the New
because
York
of the Statue of Liberty and
Liberty, downtown, the Empire State Building.
Yeah. Granted, but like maybe because I'm not from New York, I don't put it on a pedestal.
Yeah.
I love the Ghostbusters because part 2 is not really about New York. It's about the subway
and Ferris Bueller 2 came out today, and they decided he moved to Ohio. Is it as good? No.
And that's an interesting point. It's like, Chicago is a character in Ferris Bueller. New York is just as much in Ghostbusters.
It part of New York lore. And the scenery is such a big part of it.
I've never thought of it, but I'll put that in consideration.
They're at New York University, I'm pretty sure.
Moving forward to another movie that's taking place in the 80s, but it's a new modern classic that had a hit TV show in the 80s itself. We're talking about Wonder Woman 84. I thought another banger of a teaser.
Great trailer, whatever they want to call it, teaser. They're calling it a teaser. Pedro Pascal looks great.
She rides lightning.
She lasts through lightning. She's Spider-Man through lightning. That looks awesome. I like that she doesn't have her sword and shield, and she's not going to have it because they came on an interview and they said that's too aggressive for what she's doing now in her life. She's not at war anymore. Oh. So there's no need for her. She has all these powers. She's a demigod.
Shout out Patty Jenkins.
She's got the lasso. She's got the bands. They're like, there's no need for it. There's no need for her to carry a sword and shield not at war. So I appreciate that. I'm sick of the 80s. I'm so sick of the 80s.
Oh, we're getting to it. We're getting to the end of it.
Like, I'm over it. Like, I like that. The one part I liked about Captain Marvel was it was the 90s.
Oh, we're getting to that now.
Yeah,
we're going to start getting that soon.
You have to, because it's how many more 80s themes can we do? That's why I think I liked Ghostbusters a little better, because it was like that happened in the 80s, but we're in the modern time.
I think it's still taking a little time.
I don't mind stories told in modern time.
But you got to also remember when Wonder Woman was in production, we were at peak.
Yeah.
80s fever, so like that movie gets kind of a pass because it was in production of it.
Yeah. My biggest issue is the stories we're telling now is so fascinating because you have her riding lightning in this thing. I've seen her in 2 modern movies. I haven't seen her ride lightning. Yeah. So that's what sucks is you're like, well, now I'm looking at Justice League and BVS and I'm like, well, what the hell was that? Like, why is she not doing some of this stuff?
Almost.
And it's not their fault. Like, it definitely isn't. And they're doing the best they can because obviously when Patty Jenkins got a hold of it, now they're like, so this is our Wonder
But that's
Woman.
the problem. But I can't blame them for that because they decided to rush and put all this pressure on Zack and then decide like, oh no, we don't want this. But then they give talented directors time, the freedom to do it. And like that's when we get this great stuff that we've been getting.
And to be fair, again, we only got 10% of Zack Snyder's original cut. We don't know who Wonder Woman would have been. Rumor was that he was working really close with Patty Jenkins.
Well, the fact is that he casted Gal Gadot.
That's
so
what I'm saying.
he obviously saw something.
For all we know, he did have a better version of the character. And I still think she's great in those films. She's one of the best parts of both those movies.
She's the best part of Batman versus Superman.
I still like Ben Affleck,
but that's his portrayal. But like she had the best moments of the movie.
Yeah, exactly. Like she's great. So
although the Batman War Harrelson is pretty dope.
It just sucks because you're like, well, that's great, but but Patty Jenkins is just doing something even better.
She's a great director too, though.
I hope Cheetah becomes a cheetah. Actually, the rumors are she is, but people are kind of freaking out because we haven't really seen a lot of it. And the early, so you know how they let early Lego sets, early Cubs show that she's just dressed in cheetah print. But I do believe she'll be a cheetah.
I love Kristen Wiig, so I'm all in for whatever they put her in. Let her shine. Let her shine in any which way. Like, I don't need to see a goofy cat if that's not what you want to give me. If you want to give me your interpretation of Cheetah, give me it. Yeah. Just make it good. Make it good. I don't care. Like, I'm so sick of these days. Like, I know you and I hear it all the time because we're in the space, but like for people who've never heard it, Wolverine's 5'3". He's not a 6'3" beautiful man named Hugh Jackman.
He's a beautiful man.
You don't cast for it. You cast the best actors, actresses to portray your role, and you let the freedom do what they want. Do I think that David Ayer needed to make the Joker look like a little gangster? No, but guess what? That Joker has been iconic in its own way. Like, it's an iconic looking Joker. Mm-hmm. So, like, you gotta let these people do their own interpretation. If Kristen Wiig is not gonna look with little fangs and whiskers, I'm cool with that.
I do think she will at the end of the movie.
But let Patty Jenkins do it the way she wants to. I'm not gonna put my energy out there. I think Patty Jenkins
has enough love for the stories.
Sure. No, fair enough.
Yeah.
So
no, I'm not worried about it.
Totally, but like, I wouldn't be mad if Kraven the Hunter in a new Spider-Man movie doesn't look exactly like Kraven the Hunter.
I need him to wear that big old fur.
Pedro Pascal as Kraven the Hunter. What do you think?
I mean, that'd be cool. Pedro Pascal can be anyone he wants.
Mike. And that's a great segment, good brother. The Mandalorian Season 1, Episode 5, released this past Friday, The Gunslinger. A lot of people loved it. Some people didn't. Spoilers in 3, 2, 1. What did you think about Episode 5 of The Mandalorian?
I liked it. It's very entertaining. It's an entertaining show. It's hard to explain. Do I wish it was longer? Of course. Do I understand why it's not? They have a plan. They're trying to go longer. Do I think we're getting to the point now where it's kind of getting out of that? It's kind of leaving that area where I thought it would be a Breaking Bad and Game of Thrones, and it's more falling into territory of like really good like Firefly and Lost and Flash season 1 and 2, where like a Daredevil, where you're like, this is really good. Is this gonna change television forever? No. But it's really good and really entertaining, and I'm glad it's around, and it can have a lot of good seasons. Do I think it? But it has that potential to really turn the tail because it is Star Wars. I think that maybe it is because that it's not a binging thing that we have to be patient because the next 2 episodes could be so story heavy and less action, and we're like, oh snap, like we got way more. Dude, obviously, we didn't get any little details this episode.
It was the only episode that we really haven't furthered the story.
But it was entertaining. It was fun. Right, I like living in the Star Wars world. I like him being...
You like Mando.
Yeah. Like, I like it. I like Baby Yoda. I like the characters we get to meet. I like the callbacks.
Oh, I agree. Like, look for me, entertainment value, it was a phenomenal episode. It was entertaining.
It didn't go anywhere.
As a lore lover and story progressor... It didn't progress the story, and that's okay. I give them the benefit of the doubt of when they made these episodes, they didn't know what they had. Yeah. They knew they had Star Wars. They knew they had backing up Disney because of the new app, but they didn't know Baby Yoda, Mando, the gifts, the episodes, the traction. They didn't know it would be this.
So they had to pace it out. So for all we know, the next episode is all story. Like it's only gonna. There's still so many characters we haven't seen, and there's still so many spots we haven't even touched yet that it's only gonna get better.
But it goes back to your point though of maybe for season 2 they'll know to do 45 minutes. Maybe they'll give us an hour and one episode. Maybe they'll do...
Look at Game of Thrones. Like, they only got longer. Breaking
what I'm
Bad, same
saying.
thing. Breaking Bad season 1 is definitely its worst season. It's a great television, but you can definitely tell you're like, okay, now they kind of know what they want to become.
Same thing with
Game of
Sopranos.
Thrones. Same thing with Sopranos, where they got better seasons. Yes, it had a dip at the end for ones that go too long. But no TV show starts off season 1 and doesn't get better season 2 if it's really that good.
Look
Look at Flash.
next
Flash
level.
season 1 was great. Season 2 was even better.
And then it's just, of course, like
And then
anything...
it got, terrible.
And it depends on your network, how many episodes, the type of money. And, like, that's why network shows like The Flash, when they do have bangers, they really catch people's attention because it's so of a rarity.
Yeah.
That's why a show like Supernatural, though, goes 14 seasons. You're like, because it never had too much of a dip or too much of a rise. It always stayed this level. But then you have something like Mandalorian. People were expecting 10s all the way through because it's only half-an-hour episodes, because it's only 7 episodes, because they're playing exclusively
for
for
a
it.
half-hour episode. I don't think you could do anything better. You're getting
Fair.
so much lore in there, and you're getting so much Star Wars, like speed bikes, and they're riding these animals. Like, it's so entertaining.
Now, do I think that sometimes it feels a little too much like a Star Wars cartoon, like a Clone Wars? Yeah.
I love that quote from some Star Wars fans where they're like, well, that doesn't feel like Star Wars. Well, that feels like Star Wars. I was like, that doesn't make sense.
No,
Like,
yeah.
I hate that quote because that doesn't feel like Star Wars. I was like, but you're judging off 3 movies. There's 9 movies.
Well, and here's the thing.
So make your Star
Yeah,
Wars.
exactly.
But I like the goofy animals.
You and I
that
go
is
back
my
and,
Star Wars.
You and I go back and forth all the time. I'm definitely more of a serious Empire-esque Star Wars fan. You're definitely more of a new gen.
I was younger. I
Yeah.
like Return. I like Ewoks. I like Phantom Menace. And no one likes Attack of the Clones.
No.
I like the battle at the end.
I like Revenge of the Sith.
And I like
much
Revenge
more.
of the Sith. Like, I like these movies.
But I love
like the
I love
Clone
Rogue
Wars.
One.
So, and I like Solo.
Yeah, see?
So
And
I think it's crazy that I'm like, when people say, well, it's not my Star Wars, I was like, well, you have 3 movies. I have my 6 movies that I can judge it off of, and I think it's just fine.
And obviously, we adore the Star Wars Christmas special. Speaking of special, though, good brother, Watchmen, Season 1, Episode 8. A god walks into a bar. Oh, my God. I think I've said that about like 7 of these episodes. Oh, my God. The Watchmen. What? What?
Well, one, it's the best show on television. This episode is the highest rated of the season and well deserved. It's the best episode. It was a good. What's the word right before we get to the season?
Penultimate.
Penultimate. They gave us every answer at the same time. Well, not every, but like they gave us 95% of what we wanted to know, and I love it because during that they're only telling a love story. They're giving you so many answers.
Mm-hmm.
David Lindelof is one of the best writers ever. He did Leftovers, which is one of my favorite shows.
I need to watch.
One of my favorite shows of all time.
Oh.
And you can definitely tell he's a guru. He directed Breaking. Like, you look up this man's credits, he's one of the best people on
Is he
television.
doing any Star Wars?
I think
anytime
he
soon?
did. I think he was signed on
Because Deborah
to,
Chow
but I
is
don't know if he
doing
did.
all of
He's
Obi-Wan.
one of those guys that's always rumored to.
Yeah. Okay.
He's just one of the best writers and directors and TV men of the last 10 years. And this episode really proves it. I love the actor they got for Dr. Manhattan.
It's Black Manta.
He's fantastic. He's so good.
Who knew?
Who knew this man could act like that? I love his relationship with Adrian. I think it's so... It makes so much sense, and now you're adding everything up. You're like, oh, I love the whole chicken and egg thing to in the episode. You're
Great.
like, which I saw coming when they started doing that scene. I was like, but that's a good question. It's a good throwback of, well, I guess they both did.
Oh my God! But that grandfather with Regina King and with Angela and her grandfather, and she asked him like, "How does she know about Judd?" And then when he's
Who's
like,
Judd?
"I just know." I was watching it at the studio. I had an
would
old
love
shit
to-
moment.
I want to go back and watch from episode 1 because now you have so many answers. You're like, that makes sense. That makes sense. Oh, that was crazy. Oh, they talked about it in episode 4. They were mentioning this. It's insane.
I hate that I cannot pronounce his name because it's so hard. But it's Yahya Abdul Mateen II.
Yeah, we had this issue when Aquaman.
When Aquaman came out. But look, I mean, Aquaman, Watchmen, Us, The Get Down, Greatest Showman. He's the Candyman coming up in 2020.
No, yeah, he's definitely the next David Alua.
They're all the fact that we have so many strong black actors and we have so many strong
that is
black
not just Denzel
actresses
Washington anymore.
Yeah, and now we have so many Latino actors and actresses coming up, and obviously the white actress and actors are always a good crop.
It's better than ever. The crop of talent is ridiculous.
Phenomenal. And then you're seeing it,
and they're getting platforms to actually show this talent
everywhere.
I mean, Watchmen is just like HBO just keeps coming out with these hits of like, and now we don't know. Like, I don't think they thought it would be this successful. And if they did, I don't know what season 2 is going to bring. I don't know how season 1 ends.
I have a feeling that you just kind of walked into something. I don't think they knew it was going to be this big of a banger. I think again they liked it because they knew what they had. What I think is now they have no choice to go the direction I think they're going to go, because I think they went full out in this season. I think they filmed Dr. Manhattan dying. I think they filmed all of them dying.
Dr. Manhattan dies. I think Looking Glass is going to save them because I think I go deep dive into all this stuff because I'm so fascinated with it. And when you find his house, when the FBI agent finds his house, you find out one of the guys is missing a mask.
Okay.
The way he murdered.
Okay.
That came to jump him.
Yeah.
So obviously you put it together. Okay, he's disguised right now. He's in there somewhere. He's going to help him out. We still have the FBI agent that was dressed as a superhero.
Yes, we have Silk is...
There's so many unanswered questions. And obviously Dr. Manhattan says, remember, I walked on water. Remember that. And then he made there are rumors, well, the food he was making has his powers. Or, that water now has his DNA in it. Like, that's why he mentioned it to her.
Well, yeah, that I could transfer my power.
So that's what I'm saying, which is, I love that they built off his character. And they did such a good job. Like, they took such a risk. Because Dr. Manhattan is not an easy character.
No.
And we don't have a lot about him. Now that this is part of the lore, I'm like, no, this makes sense. Like, I used to hate Dr. Manhattan. Now I love Dr. Manhattan because I'm like, you showed us a human side of him as a god.
And I wonder if Alan Moore meant this or Zack Snyder did when he filmed it, that they just thought of him this is abnemitus
God.
Like a god. Like, I don't know how to pronounce the word. You guys can tell me in the comment section below, like I know you will, what he is, right? Like, does he feel anything? I think in HBO's version, they've done a great job of
he was a man turned into a god with man tendencies, though. Like, what's the quote? Like, he was built in our image or something. So, like, in this case, they really play off the Bible references and, like, he was built in our image. So he is human.
Let's get into that. I love how they tied in the little babies in the pound with
and you're like,
Animanian, and, like, they're up there, and they're not in some weird dimension. They're in a moon of Jupiter. They're in Europa. What? Like, the entire time you're sitting there like, oh, it's a prison. These are who the Watchmen
was the first one he did.
So for all you who are listening to this podcast and couldn't understand it or just listen to our reviews of Watchmen, in one of the first episodes when you see that Jeremy Irons is picking up two babies from the water and he turns them to adults that become his servants, it was actually Dr. Manhattan who created these two people off images of people who helped them during the war. Yep. And that's him creating life.
His Adam and Eve.
His Adam and Eve. And the whole way that they explained him creating life, that he can do it, how he would do it.
Because that was his goal, was to be a god. And then he realized it was unfulfilling, that he didn't want that. And deep down, I like that his relationship with Adrian is that he is a man, and he has faults, and he does want love and some concept of it. So he goes out of his way to find a way to even have that kind of life.
What do you think is at the very end when he gets that horseshoe, the thing that he
I think one of those long-term plans that they knew this happened. Like, I still think there's more to the story. Like I said, we got 95%. Like, we still have the stuff at the factory. We still have the grandpa. There was 10 years in the middle that we don't have a lot of answers to. That stuff was building up. So I'm fascinated to see where it goes next week. And you know me, I don't look at clips for next week because it spoils it for me. So I can't. Sunday's going to be interesting.
So let's go ahead and say, what do you think happens in the season finale?
I can't tell you, dude. There's just so much going on. I think they stop the bad guys. But then at that point, is there anything fun? I don't know.
Do we get a confrontation between Silk and Angela?
No.
Because of Dr. Manhattan?
No,
she loves
friends.
Dr.
Yeah,
she loves Dr. Manhattan.
She also left Dr. Manhattan at one point.
No.
Yeah, she goes with Owlman. She dumps Dr. Manhattan for Owlman at one point.
Is that established on this show?
Yeah, that's the part of the lore. Even comic book or movie, that's part of the lore. Like, that's a similar trait from both of them, Mike.
No, again, you could say that, but that's never been established on the show.
Remember, they get arrested together. Her and Owlman get arrested, and she makes the deal to go to the FBI.
Okay, if you're right, I have to, go back and see it. Okay.
Because it's still based off the comic book, and the comic book, that's part of it.
Well, yeah, I know that.
Zack Snyder did alone in his movie is not canon.
Yeah.
Anything in the comic book is canon.
No, yeah, absolutely. I know that, and I know the story.
So their relationship is canon, yes.
Okay, so I thought they would make a bigger deal of Owl. Night Owl, and they never done it.
Maybe season 2.
Maybe
that's what we have to We haven't really seen a lot of New York. We've only been in Tulsa.
We've been in Tulsa. So that'd be interesting if that's where we move into.
Exactly.
We haven't seen Rorschach. And I mean, they haven't established if is he dead? Is it just the cavalry? Is Rorschach dead in this?
Yeah, Rorschach's dead.
Okay, yes. So then maybe we never
but
do
again, can we bring people back to life? Apparently, yeah.
Maybe new Rorschach is the senator.
Maybe it's Looking Glass becomes the new Rorschach.
So there's a lot of ways to go on to it, but I've loved Watchmen. What I haven't necessarily loved is Crisis on Infinite
Talk
Earths.
about no hype, and no one's talking about
Well,
this.
it was all hype, literally leading into Sunday night.
Yep.
And then after people watched it Sunday night, and everybody was like, okay.
And then you put Watchmen out, the best episode of the night, and no one's talking about it.
So let me go ahead and break down my complaints of it.
Everything.
It's not everything. I don't think... Okay, so they have literally intertwined Crisis into every mainline story of Flash, Arrow, Supergirl, Batwoman. It's all been part of their main story. If you watch The Flash like I do every Tuesday, they got rid of basically the main bad guy halfway through because the entire story has been Crisis. Barry was going to disappear. Barry was going to die. Oliver's going to die this way. This is going to happen. Then these 3 episodes now come out. And they essentially swerved us, bro. In the worst way. So, Alex, you know in Crisis how Barry gets out on the infinite treadmill, and that's how he disappears trying to stop the anti-monitor? Yeah. Well, in the Flash TV show, they say that's how he vanishes, is stopping Crisis. Except, they say this for 2 years. Except it's Barry Allen from the other Earth that looks like his father. That was the Barry Allen that actually kills himself. So for 2 years... as a Flash fan, that this is where the storyline is going to take us.
That's the newspaper, right?
And it ends up being a totally different Flash in a totally different way. Good brother, they have shit on Superman so many times in the CW universe. Yeah. It's not even cool. I'm not even talking about just trying to put over Supergirl. They have made that character look like shit. Except for Brandon Routh. They did him a little bit justice. This other guy, they have not given him one good opportunity to be Superman.
Isn't he getting his own show too?
They keep teasing it and nothing comes from it. But what they did to Bruce Wayne and Kevin Conroy, to me, is almost unforgivable.
Yeah, what was this?
I literally tweeted out, maybe the CW should never touch Batman ever again. Do the Batwoman thing forever.
There's a reason they haven't touched Batman. Yeah, Mike. I know there was hype years ago for a Batman series. That hype's not there
So Kevin Conroy comes down in a whole mechanical suit.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Makes sense. Years of being Batman, right? The idea is that there's these paragons. 7 paragons that are going to help save the universe. And one of them is Courage. And that's Bruce Wayne. That's what the Monitor says. What Kate Cassidy, I think is her name, Batwoman, goes with Supergirl, and they go to see him. And then all of a sudden, they see Bruce is talking to Kate, and they walk away. And you see Supergirl, you see Kara looking at this mantle. And you see a Joker card, a Riddler staff, a Sub-Zero, Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero, a Mr. Freeze thing that looks like a Sub-Zero case. Yeah. So you see all these bad guys, and all of a sudden, you see these glasses. And she looks at them, and he's like, wait, that's Clark, that's Superman. And you find out that Batman killed Superman. And the reason why he's in a mechanical suit is because Superman broke his body in the middle of this fight. So
why did he kill him?
So they get down to the Batcave, and essentially Bruce tells Kate that he's killing people. That he killed one person, and then he started killing another person, and now he just kills his bad guys. And here comes down this alien for no reason, and people adore him. And anybody with the badge or anybody with the flag could persuade him. So I had to stop him. And he kills Superman. And then he tells Batgirl and Supergirl that the universe is doomed. All the Earth should die. Human or grime, it's good.
Oof.
He attacks Supergirl, and Batgirl punches him, and he falls into a generator and electrocutes himself because of the machine.
Wow.
And literally, Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman, an iconic voice actor that the pop culture loves, his last words as the only Batman on CW, there is no hope, and dies.
Ooh.
And dies. I'm not exaggerating this. I'm not making... That is how Batman was introduced. I almost stopped watching. And it's not like, oh, they're making the girls the strong part. No. Ruby Rose is dope as shit as Batwoman. She looks cool, especially in these crossovers. Why bring in Batman? If you want to make her the Courage, just make her the goddamn Courage. Don't shit on this IP. This is your moneymaker. They're about to release a movie next year. This is the character that literally carried WB. There's no TV shows without The Dark Knight coming out and making billions of dollars. And you're going to shit on them like that? And then what they do with Superman, and they constantly make him a joke. Tom Welling shows up. So here's the Superman storyline.
No, I saw the Tom Welling. I didn't mind the Tom
No, it was cool.
thing.
But you want to know where his interaction comes in with? Lex Luthor is brought back. He gets the Book of Destiny. And he literally goes multiverse to multiverse, killing Superman.
No, yeah, I saw this part.
Lex Luthor is cool. I like him killing Superman. But they do nothing with it. Nothing is cool about it. It's just, hey, we kill Superman. You kill Superman all the goddamn time on these series now. You make him look like shit.
I mean, I don't want to tell you, it's a CW, Mike. What did you expect?
No, but it's not just a CW. This is not a third company that is getting the property rented to them. This company is owned by Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers are making these shows, investing hype, money, getting Kevin Smith to do post shows.
I think what they're saying is our audience isn't the diehard nerds. Our audience is CW fans. Is what they're trying to sell.
Which I don't think it's crazy to say that a lot more than half of their fans are CW fans that just happen to like these shows. But what I'm saying is, if you then are going to insult my intelligence and make this a storyline for 2 years and then completely negate the storyline. That's just bad writing. That's not bad. That's not...
Maybe you're not the audience they're aiming for then.
Well, who's the audience?
I don't know. Preteens?
Preteens are sitting there on a Tuesday night watching The Flash. They're watching shit they like.
I haven't seen any of these shows. I think they're a complete waste of time. I don't watch things that are not good. Watch Watchmen. It's the same company, and it's good. Watch Watchmen. I can't condone it. I loved Flash 1 and 2, and it got so bad. To me, they're unwatchable.
Oh, I don't think they're unwatchable.
And that's fine. And it's all opinion. Yeah. To me, it's unwatchable, and I refuse to be a critic that watches things to shit on them, so I won't watch this.
Right. I'm not trying to shit on it. You know how much I've wanted to
I don't watch, because all I will do is shit on it.
Now, but here's the thing, though. I think as television, and especially as superhero television, Crisis on Infinite Earth X was phenomenal. Because that was Stephen Amell and Greg Gustin and Melissa by themselves carrying it. Supergirl, Arrow, and Flash are great characters on these shows. Their storylines may be stupid sometimes, but they're 3 good TV actors that can make shit work. There's too many people going around. There's too many storylines. It's kind of like what a lot of people thought it was going to be about this. But I thought for sure it was going to be this banger, and we have to wait now till January 14th to see part 4 and 5.
And now today they just dropped the first trailer for Stargirl, so they're adding another one.
Oh, so we know how it ends because Stargirl, yeah. So it's all upsetting.
And Marvel TV shut down, so there's a terrible day for superhero television beside the Watchmen.
And award season is underway, good brother, from the Emmys to the SAGs to eventually the Oscars and the Directors Guild Award and the Writers Guild Awards. Good brother, anything you want to hit on? I mean, the big story was the Emmys not having any female directors be nominated. Yeah. But quite honestly, I don't even think, I think there's a systematic problem with Hollywood. I don't think this was a systematic problem. This year is just stacked, and it's hard. Like, there's so many people who are going to get denied this year. So many people.
I usually would think so. I think this year was a snub. I think last year was the opposite. I think last year it just was talent.
Well, who got snubbed? Who got snubbed?
Director of Farewell. Director of Booksmart.
No, yeah, Olivia Wilde is great, and I can't think of...
Do I think Quentin Tarantino deserves a nom? No.
Okay, that's different. Here's the thing,
I think Ava DuVernay got completely snubbed, and When They See Us got snubbed for these awards? Yes, completely. Do I think Watchmen got snubbed? Yeah, I do. And it was eligible.
But that's not the controversy of the Emmys. 5 directors.
We're talking about the Emmys already happened.
I understand that, but the story off the Emmys is not who won, it's who wasn't nominated. The SAG nominated a bunch of female minorities, the SAGs did it because it's their own kind. The controversy is if the Emmys did not nominate one female director, will the Oscars nominate a female director?
No. And they should.
So and then in that case, who gets taken off?
Scorsese doesn't need to be on there necessarily. Quentin Tarantino. I think Quentin Tarantino and Todd Phillips can be taken off. Because I think Todd Phillips is all Joaquin Phoenix. And I think Quentin Tarantino has made so many better movies. I'll give Scorsese on there because it is a long movie and it's
but it doesn't matter
process. But I'm just saying, years before, I couldn't take him off the list. Years like this, I'm like, no, I could probably take 2 and put 2 more in there and totally have the argument. I think that's where Hollywood's arguing now is that previous years, no, there was not a lot. You couldn't just pick and pull without being like, well, that's a really good movie. I think this year people are like, well, Quentin Tarantino, does he really deserve that award over someone? I don't think so.
I think it's great. I think it's one thing to say you don't think it's some of his greatest work, but it's crazy to be objective and say he shouldn't be nominated for an Academy Award. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is a great movie. The thing is this is what happens. People have their objectives. I don't think for one second that some of these people don't deserve nominations, but you can't deserve
it. Can I plug and pull? And this year I can.
You think you can. Not everybody thinks they can. I think universally,
the definition in Hollywood right now is that they can.
No, most people aren't even necessarily going crazy about who to take off. More people are like, are we getting the recognition of it? And I think more than anything, we have made it very known that people want inclusion. People know this. So for the fact that they did nominate 5 men, that has to show something that they consciously think that these movies were. Now, I think the Emmys are a joke, but I don't know. We'll see at the end of it. Good, brother. Let's go to wrestling. Hall of Fame, Batista, NWO. What do you think?
I love it. I think it's great. I love that X-Pac's going to be part of the NWO part.
It's stupid.
You don't like it?
No, he was there for 2 weeks. It makes no sense.
I like X-Pac. And plus, he's your WWE guy to keep you going.
The NWO is Hogan, Hall, and Nash. That's it.
I like X-Pac.
That's fine.
X-Pac's a great
Sean
person.
Waltman needs to be a 2-time Hall of Famer?
I think you need to put Christian in.
Yeah. He should have been.
Batista's great.
Batista's great.
I'm trying to think of the woman you do this year. Probably Lisa Marie. I can't think. I'm trying to think of who else really. William Regal definitely needs to go in. We're always talking about these guys, though. So if I had to pick one more guy that needs to go in this year, it's probably Christian.
Yeah, it's definitely Christian. I think they might save Christian for a Toronto show, though.
Yeah, I can see that.
They'll save him for Toronto.
I think Hardys are eventually going to in because I think Matt Hardy's about to retire.
Yeah, but they'll do that like after they retire. Like that's something that you.
Jeff Hardy's hurt, right? Is that?
No, he's suspended. I think because of.
I thought he got hurt.
No, I thought he got drugs.
Well, I know Bobby Roode and one of the Colognes who, surprisingly, are still with the company.
With the wrestling Puerto Rico, which is so funny. But yeah, I mean, that's the Hall of Fame, NWO. I think it should be 3, but
I think WWE's at its prime right now. I think they're killing it. I think WWE's definitely is a great program right now. I think Raw's been good, SmackDown's been good.
Well, their IP is strong because their podcast, their network.
I can't complain. We don't talk about it a lot anymore because, guess what? No one does. AEW is very mediocre. Yeah. I think, I heard What Culture say it best, where they were surprised they released the tone of because they released Luke Harper, Sin Cara, and The Ascension. They granted them their release. Mm-hmm. And they said what's crazy about the tone is months ago they would never have done it because they were afraid of what was coming. And now they know what AEW is and they're not a serious threat to them.
Not like that.
They don't have to have the headaches. No. We're like, well, yeah, go ahead.
Go. Enjoy it.
Sure, you take Luke Harper. What are you going to do with him that we didn't do? Like, no offense, you're not doing anything with the guys you do have.
And here's the bottom line is, cool, go get over somewhere else and come back. Like, that's the idea.
Like, don't tell me Dean Ambrose isn't going to come back. Don't tell me Jericho won't end his career at WWE, guys.
Luke Harper needs to go to Japan.
I would love to see what you
Yeah. Needs to go over as a bad guy in Japan. That's where he needs to go. Be a Bruiser Brody. That's where he needs to go.
I would even accept him at TNA.
Sure. Yeah. I think more than anything, you want to know what would save? Well, I don't know if save is a good word. You know what would get AEW over? And I've been thinking about this for a little bit. You have to establish that you're on TNT. You have to take advantage that you're on TNT. So if you're going to go goofy, go goofy. Go all the way one way or the other.
Because TNA's doing their job. I see them everywhere. I see commercials every time I pass through. Their TNT is hyping this up. The show itself is not good.
What you need to be doing is every time. Let's say when AEW was here in Chicago, when they were at the Sears Center.
What a whisper that was.
But here's what you need to do. At 6:30, from 6:30 to 6:45, you have a match that's on your Twitter. So AEW Dynamite hashtag. So instead of it being a dark match, you get Instead of it being on a stupid YouTube show, put it on your Twitter live right now. People will be watching it, interacting at half an hour before NXT is on the air.
Yeah.
All right? Then what do you do afterwards? You do live promos. You let Chris Jericho grab a mic for 5 minutes after the show, and you put that on Twitter, on YouTube, live stream it on Twitch. What you need to do is you need to be proactive. You want to be different. You want to be cool. Cody Rhodes wants to change the world and come up from the middle of the Titantron. Be part of the new generation of thing. Do stuff WWE isn't doing. WWE's getting videos taken down from people because they want to own their IP. Yeah. Be the opposite. Give everybody your videos. Show everybody. Stream it. Be a part of it. Show me Jungle Boy. I don't need to see Jungle Boy being like, well, I can last 10 minutes with you. No, you know what, Jungle? That's not how you get over. You are Luke Perry's son. Like, you are a good-looking kid. You're athletic.
Don't tell me WWE was not good. No. You go on Jungle Boy all you want, but we're going to play off of he's a Perry.
Be it. Be awesome. Be dope.
Like be you. Like Perry, Jungle Boy Perry. Like, you could do so many things.
Would Xavier Woods and New Day be as big as they were if they weren't social media savvy like they were? YouTube savvy. Why is
Xavier Woods? That's when people always say, what's Xavier Woods' part? Not only is he the mouthpiece, he's the hype man.
He's the hype man. He's the media guy. So why is the new era, new generation, things that want to buck against the system, literally doing what everybody else did before them?
Like I said, besides Jericho, I just do not enjoy anything in that show. And I like a lot of the people on that show, but they don't use them.
But liking an individual and liking talent is different than liking their show.
I like Jim Ross.
Did you like Lucha Underground?
Oh, no.
But you love half of the guys that came off of that damn roster.
Of course. Like, I like Lucha Underground better. At least I knew what it was. It was a joke.
Well, think about the difference.
It was a show. It was entertaining. I can appreciate them. I can watch highlights of Lucha and be like, I get what you're going for. It's silly as shit, but I understand your audience and it's fun. Mm-hmm. This is like, they don't know what they want to be.
No.
And the worst thing is they act like they want to be something and they do the exact opposite of what they said they were going to be. Mm-hmm. We want to build a tag and women's division. That's your worst thing you have right now. Mm-hmm. We're going to have homegrown talent. The best part of your show is all ex-WWE talent.
And then, like,
what the hell is Kenny Omega? No one cares.
And here's the thing: people need to look special. And like, I hate being one of these guys because I think talent comes in all shapes and sizes. I really do think
but Kevin Owens looks special
compared to Marco Stunt. Exactly. Now, Marco Stunt has a spot.
Yeah, Marco Stunt's not even the issue.
No,
like, I can think of like who's the one from the Friends you don't like?
Oh, Trent and
that's a better example of like. You're not
Chuck
small,
Taylor.
You're not big. Like, you're just you look like an Al wrestler compared to like Kevin Owens. Yeah, we get it. He's a bigger guy. He looks like he belongs.
He looks there.
He looks there, intimidating and like
he believes it.
Yeah, there's a difference.
To me, there's a difference of talented people work in the indies all the time. I see it all the time in media. Yeah. There are levels to it. But for me, I act whether I'm on from the lowest stages of my life to when I've been at my highest. The fact is I've always carried myself like main event, main guy, main talent. I watch AEW, and half the time I'm like, these guys look like they've seen the bright lights for the first time.
Shows, yes. And I'm like, but the problem is, I'm like, then show me more of the guys that know what they're doing.
And let them bring in like the specialties.
Like, your first tag title should have gone to the Brothers or the Brothers.
Yeah.
Like, it shouldn't have been an option, or Jurassic Express.
And if Luchasaurus is going to be funny, then he needs to be getting over every week.
Yeah.
He needs to be a badass because I'm cool with him being
like, if you're going for like funny Kane, Daniel Bryan sort of thing.
Super cool.
Love it. Do it then.
But you got to go all in, and you got to make him look good at the same time. Yep. And guess what? There's not a Vince McMahon in your way. You're booking the damn show.
That's the problem. Sometimes that's the issue. You need a Vince McMahon.
But good brother, I think that'll do it for this episode, a jam-packed episode of The Good Brothers. Any final thoughts from Mandalorian Watchman Awards, Crisis, box office, wrestling? Any final thoughts before we head out for the week?
Final thoughts.
My man. You could join us anywhere in the universe. He's on Twitter at Mercado21 Alex and on Instagram at Mercado2121. Give him all the support this holiday season and Christmas season because competitions are on their way. You could support the lovely Nicole Mancha. She's getting her book up off the air. It's at Typing When Tipsy on all social media. I'm on Twitter at Mike M Media, on Instagram at Mike Mercado Media. You guys can continue hating on me for all my sports takes. I don't care what you say. I'm going to cry when Chris Bryant gets traded. For the good brother himself, Alex Mercado.
Adios.
I'm Mike Mercado. We'll see you in the next episode of The Good Brothers here on the Mercado
Airwaves
Network.
Thanks for joining us here on The Good Brothers, here on Mercado Airwaves.